My wife's Tuesday book club was actually code for her affair. I discovered the truth when her lover's wife called me in tears. I thought I was being a supportive husband. Every Tuesday evening for the past 8 months, I'd kiss my wife Sarah goodbye, tell her to have fun at book club, and spend the evening with our 6-year-old son Jake. We'd make pizza together, play video games, do the bedtime routine. When Sarah came home around 10 p.m., she'd seem relaxed and happy, would tell me about the book they'd discussed and the interesting conversations with her book club friends. I was proud of her for making time for herself, for cultivating friendships, for reading more. I thought the book club was making her happy. I was right about the happy part, but there was no book club. Hey Reddit, this is the story of how I discovered my wife's 8-month affair when her lover's wife called me in tears, and how every single Tuesday evening of trust and support I'd given Sarah had been a carefully constructed lie. I'm Mike, 34 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will make you question whether you really know what your partner does when they're out with friends. You know that sinking feeling when something small doesn't add up, but you dismiss it because you trust your partner? When little inconsistencies pile up, but you rationalize each one because questioning them feels like you're being paranoid or controlling? That's where this story lives. But let me start from the beginning, because to understand how completely I was deceived by the woman I'd trusted for 7 years, you need to understand how normal everything seemed and how well constructed her lies were. I met Sarah 9 years ago when I was 25 and she was 23. I was working as a junior software engineer at a tech startup, making about $55,000 a year. Sarah was finishing her degree in graphic design, working part-time at a print shop. We met through a mutual friend at a birthday party, connected over shared interests in hiking and cooking, and started dating within a month. Sarah was creative, warm, funny. She had this infectious energy that made everything more interesting. She'd find beauty in ordinary things, would photograph interesting shadows, would notice architectural details others missed, would turn grocery shopping into an adventure. I loved her perspective on the world, loved how she made life feel more vibrant. We dated for 2 years. During that time, I got promoted twice. First to software engineer the tech at $72,000, then to senior software engineer at $88,000. Sarah graduated and started freelancing as a graphic designer, making modest income but loving the creative freedom. We talked about the future, marriage, kids, building a life together. At 3 years of dating, I proposed during a camping trip in the mountains. She said yes immediately, kissed me, cried happy tears. We got married 6 months later in a small ceremony with close family and friends. Beautiful day full of promise and hope. The first few years of marriage were genuinely good. We both worked. I'd been promoted to lead software engineer, making $105,000. Sarah was freelancing part-time, making around $35,000. We bought a modest 3-bedroom house in a good school district. Started talking seriously about having children. Jake was born when I was 28 and Sarah was 26. Perfect, healthy, everything we'd hoped for. Sarah took maternity leave, then transitioned to even more part-time freelance work so she could be with Jake. I supported this completely. We could afford it on my salary, and having a parent home with Jake during his early years felt important to both of us. Those first few years with Jake were hard but good. The typical new parent exhaustion, the learning curve, the adjustment to having a tiny human dependent on us for everything. But Sarah and I were a team. We split nighttime duties, supported each other through the stress, celebrated every milestone together. By the time Jake turned 5 and started kindergarten, we'd settled into a comfortable rhythm. I was working from home 2 days a week as a senior software engineer, making $110,000. Sarah was freelancing maybe 15, 20 hours per week, bringing in $25,000, $30,000 annually. Jake was thriving in school. Our marriage felt stable, secure, maybe a bit routine, but in a comfortable way. That's when Sarah started talking about wanting more social connection. I feel like I've lost myself a bit, she said one evening after we'd put Jake to bed. Like I'm just mom and wife, but I don't have my own friends anymore. My own activities outside of this house. What do you want to do? I asked, supportive and understanding. Join a gym? Take a class? I can handle Jake more evenings if you want to get out. Maybe. I'll think about it. 2 weeks later, Sarah came home from the grocery store excited. I met someone today in the checkout line. Her name is Kelly. We started chatting about the book I was buying, and she invited me to join her book club. They meet Tuesday evenings. That's great. You should go. Really? You wouldn't mind handling Jake solo on Tuesday night? Of course not. I think it's great you're making friends and doing something for yourself. She hugged me. Thank you. You're the best. The following Tuesday, Sarah went to her first book club meeting. She left at 6:45 p.m., dressed nicely, not fancy, but definitely more put together than her usual stay-at-home mom clothes. Jeans that fit well, a nice sweater, makeup done, hairstyle. You look great, I told her. You just want to make a good first impression with the book club ladies? She came home at 10:15 p.m., happy and energized. It was amazing. The women are so interesting. We had great discussions about the book. Kelly is wonderful. She's so well-read and thoughtful. I'm so glad I found this group. What book are you reading? The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Have you heard of it? No, but it sounds cool. It is. I'll tell you more about it, but I'm exhausted, going to shower and head to bed. And that became the pattern. Every Tuesday evening for the next 8 months, Sarah went to book club. She'd dress nicely, leave around 7 p.m., come home around 10 p.m., and tell me about the book they'd discussed and the conversations they'd had. I was genuinely happy for her. She seemed lighter, more herself, more engaged with life. The book club was clearly good for her mental health and happiness, and I enjoyed my Tuesday evenings with Jake. It became our special dad and son time, but over those 8 months, I started noticing small things. Individually, they seemed insignificant, but looking back, they formed a pattern I should have recognized. Sarah became protective of her phone. She'd always been casual about it before. Would leave it on the counter, wouldn't care if I glanced at a text notification, would hand it to me to look up something while she was driving, but gradually she started keeping it with her constantly, would take it to the bathroom, would angle it away from me when texting, would set it face down on the table. When I'd ask, "Who are you texting?" she'd say, "Just Kelly or the book club group chat." Normal enough explanations. She started going to the gym more, not suspicious on its own. She'd always worked out occasionally. But suddenly she was at the gym 4 or 5 times per week, coming home energizing about feeling good about herself. "You look great," I'd tell her because she did. She'd lost some weight, seemed more confident, was dressing better even on regular days. "Thanks. I'm finally prioritizing self-care." On Tuesdays specifically, I noticed she'd spend extra time getting ready, would shower, do her makeup carefully, wear perfume, choose outfits deliberately for book club with a group of women reading novels. "You're dressed up for book," I commented one Tuesday around month 3. "I like feeling put together. Is that a problem?" "No, not at all. You look beautiful." But it did seem like a lot of effort for sitting around discussing books with other women. Around month 4, I started noticing she'd smell different when she came home Tuesday nights. Not bad, just different. Like cologne, men's cologne specifically. "Did you hug someone at book club?" I asked one night, smelling it on her sweater. "What? No. Why? You smell like men's cologne." She laughed. "Kelly's husband probably wears cologne and it transferred when Kelly hugged me goodbye. You're being weird." I let it go. But I'd notice it almost every Tuesday after that. By month 5, I started feeling curious about this book club that was such a big part of Sarah's life. "I'd love to meet Kelly sometime. Maybe we could all grab dinner, you, me, Kelly, and her husband." "Kelly's really private. She doesn't do a lot of social stuff outside book club." "Okay, well, what about the book club itself? Could I join? I like reading. It's kind of a women's group. I don't think you'd enjoy it. We read a lot of romance and literary fiction. Pretty sure you'd be bored." "Maybe, but I'd be happy to try. Let me ask Kelly if it's okay to have a guy join." She never brought it up again. When I'd ask, she'd say Kelly wanted to keep the group women only, that it was important for the dynamic. Month 6, I suggested meeting her at the bookstore one Tuesday to browse together before her book club. "We could grab dinner first, then I'll head home with Jake before your meeting." "The book club isn't near that bookstore. It's at Kelly's house across town." "Where does Kelly live?" "North Side." "You wouldn't want to drive all the way out there." "I don't mind." "Mike, why are you being so weird about this? It's just a book club. Can I please have one evening a week that's mine?" The way she said it made me feel guilty, like I was being controlling or suspicious for no reason. So I backed off. But by month 7, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Nothing concrete, just accumulated small things that didn't quite fit together. Sarah never brought the books home. When I'd ask to see what they were reading, she'd say she borrowed it from Kelly or read it on her Kindle, but I never saw her reading on Tuesday afternoons before book club, which you'd think she'd need to do to discuss it that evening. She never mentioned specific conversations or other members besides Kelly. When I'd ask, "What did you guys talk about tonight?" she'd give vague answers. just the themes of the book, or character analysis mostly, or we got off topic discussing our lives. She never invited me to meet anyone from the group at neutral events. No, hey, Kelly and some book club friends are meeting for coffee Saturday. Want to come? No integration of this supposedly important social circle into any other part of her life. And the Tuesday pattern was absolute. In 8 months, Sarah had never missed a Tuesday book club. Not once. Not for illness, not for family events, not for anything. Every single Tuesday, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. book club. Last week Tuesday, 8 months into this routine, Jake was invited to a sleepover at my mom's house. She'd asked if he could stay Tuesday night, and Sarah and I agreed. We'll have the house to ourselves Tuesday evening, Sarah said Monday night. That'll be nice. Wait, you still have book club Tuesday? Oh, right, I forgot. You could skip it. We could have a date night. I can't skip. We're finishing a really important book, and everyone's expecting me. Can't you miss one meeting? Mike, I've committed to this group. I can't just not show up. So Tuesday evening came. I dropped Jake at my mom's house around 4 p.m., came home to an empty house. Sarah was at the gym. She got home at 5:30, showered, started getting ready for book club. I watched her preparation with growing unease. This wasn't someone getting ready to discuss literature with women friends. This was someone getting ready for something else. She shaved her legs, put on matching lingerie that I could see through the open bathroom door, did her makeup more carefully than usual, wore perfume, chose an outfit that was subtly sexy, fitted jeans, a top that showed just a hint of cleavage. You look nice, I said carefully. Thanks. She kissed me on the cheek. Don't wait up. Sometimes these discussions run long. She left at 6:50 p.m. I stood at the window and watched her car disappear down the street, and for the first time in 8 months, I let myself fully acknowledge what my gut had been trying to tell me. Something was very wrong. I sat on the couch staring at my phone, debating what to do. I could call her, but she'd just reassure me everything was fine. I could drive to Kelly's house, but I didn't actually know where that was. I could go through her computer or iPad, but they were password protected now, something that had changed around month 2 of book club. So I just sat there, alone in my house, feeling sick with suspicion, but having no proof of anything. At 7:47 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, probably spam, but something made me pick up. Hello? A woman's voice, thick with tears and anger. Is this Mike? Sarah's husband? My heart stopped. Yes, who is this? My name is Rachel. I'm Tom's wife, and I think our spouses are having an affair. The world tilted. What? Who's Tom? Tom Anderson. He's been going to poker night every Tuesday for 8 months. I found his other phone, the one I wasn't supposed to know about. It's full of texts with someone named Sarah, your Sarah. They've been sleeping together this whole time, every Tuesday. There's no poker night. Hey, there's no book club. It's been them at a hotel for 8 goddamn months. I couldn't breathe, couldn't process. That's not... Sarah goes to book club with her friend Kelly. Rachel laughed bitterly. There is no Kelly. That's part of the story Tom told me to explain why he knew Sarah's name if it ever came up. Kelly is supposedly Tom's co-worker whose wife runs a book club. It's all lies, every bit of it. How do you know it's my wife? I'm looking at texts right now. She mentions you by name, mentions Jake, mentions your house address. There are photos, explicit photos, hotel receipts, 8 months of evidence. My hands were shaking. Can you send it to me? I'll send you everything. What's your number? I gave it to her. Within seconds, my phone started buzzing with incoming messages, screenshots, dozens of them. I opened the first one, a text thread between Tom and Sarah. Tom Charles, can't wait for tomorrow. Hotel is booked. Sarah, I know I've been thinking about you all day. Tom, did your husband suspect anything? Sarah, no, he believes the book club story completely. He's so trusting it's almost sad. Tom, good, I can't get enough of you. Sarah, same, see you at 7. I opened another screenshot, a photo Sarah had sent to Tom. Her in lingerie I recognized in what looked like a hotel room. The caption, ready for you. Another screenshot. Hotel receipts, the Marriott downtown, every Tuesday for the past 8 months. Room charges for 3 hours, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Another text thread. Sarah, Mike asked about meeting Kelly today. Tom, what did you say? Sarah, that you're private and don't do social stuff. He backed off. He always does. Tom, Rachel's getting suspicious again. I had to delete some texts. Sarah, be careful. We can't let them find out. Not yet. Sarah, I don't know how much longer I can keep lying to Mike, though. I feel guilty sometimes. Tom, Don't feel guilty. We're not doing anything wrong. We deserve happiness. Sarah, you're right. Tuesday can't come fast enough. I sat there, phone in hand, reading message after message, looking at photo after photo, evidence of 8 months of betrayal, 8 months of elaborate lies, 8 months of my wife getting dressed up, kissing me goodbye, and going to a hotel to sleep with someone named Tom while I trusted her completely. Every Tuesday, every single Tuesday for 8 months, while I made pizza with Jake and felt proud of Sarah for prioritizing her friendships and reading. While I told her she looked great and encouraged her self-care routine, while I backed off from meeting Kelly because I didn't want to be controlling. She'd been using my trust, my support, my encouragement to facilitate an affair. Rachel was still on the phone. I'd forgotten I hadn't hung up. "Are you still there?" she asked. "Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but you needed to know." "Where are they right now?" "The Marriott downtown, same place they always go. Tom left at 6:45 saying he had poker night. I'm sure your wife left around the same time with some excuse." "Book club." "Right, book club. Jesus." I checked the time, 8:03 p.m. Sarah had been with Tom for over an hour at a hotel while I sat at home trusting her. "What are you going to do?" Rachel asked. "I don't know. I need to think." "If you want to confront them together, I'm willing. I'm about ready to drive to that hotel right now." "Don't, not yet. Let me think. Can I call you back?" "Yes, I'll send you the rest of the evidence. There's a lot. I'm sorry you have to see it." She hung up. My phone continued buzzing with incoming messages. More texts, more photos, more hotel receipts, 8 months of documented betrayal. I sat there alone in my empty house, Jake at my mom's, Sarah at a hotel with her lover, and tried to process the fact that my marriage had been a lie for 8 months. Every Tuesday evening of trust and support had been weaponized against me. Every time I'd told Sarah she looked great, I'd been complimenting her efforts to look good for another man. Every time I'd encouraged her book club attendance, I'd been facilitating her affair. Every time I'd felt guilty for questioning her, she'd been lying to my face. I looked at the clock. 8:15 p.m. Sarah usually came home around 10 p.m. I had less than 2 hours before she'd walk through that door, kiss me hello, and tell me about the book club discussion that never happened. 2 hours to decide what to do with the information that had just destroyed my entire understanding of my marriage. 2 hours before my wife came home expecting me to believe another lie. I sat there for 10 minutes just staring at my phone, at the evidence of 8 months of betrayal, trying to process what it meant. My wife, Sarah, the woman I'd trusted completely, had been sleeping with someone named Tom every Tuesday while I believed she was at book club, every single Tuesday for 8 months. The rage came first. Hot, blinding fury that made me want to drive to that hotel, confront them, make a scene, let everyone see what they'd done. But underneath the rage was something worse, devastating heartbreak. The woman I loved, the mother of my child, had looked me in the eyes every Tuesday night and lied, had kissed me goodbye before meeting her lover, had come home smelling of his cologne, and told me elaborate stories about books she'd never read. I forced myself to breathe, to think strategically instead of emotionally. Confronting her at the hotel would be satisfying for about 30 seconds, then counterproductive. I needed to be smart about this. I called Rachel back. She answered immediately. "Mike, yeah, I need to talk this through with someone. Can we stay on the phone?" "Of course. I'm sitting in my car in my driveway trying to figure out what to do. My kids are inside with a babysitter. I told them I was running to the store, but I can't go back in there and act normal." "How old are your kids?" 10 and 8. Girls. They adore their dad. This is going to destroy them. Jake's 6. Same situation. We were quiet for a moment. Two strangers united by the worst discovery of our lives. "How did you find out?" I asked. "Tom's been acting suspicious for months. More secretive with his phone, working out more. Always had Tuesday poker nights that seemed weirdly consistent. Tonight something made me search his gym bag. Found a second phone hidden in a side pocket. It wasn't locked. I guess he figured I'd never find it. Everything was on there. Texts, photos, hotel confirmations. 8 months of my husband having an affair while I took care of our kids and trusted him. Sarah told me she was at book club with her friend Kelly, who doesn't exist. Tom told me Kelly was his coworker. But Kelly's wife, Sarah, ran a book club Tom had mentioned in passing, which is why I might hear that name. They coordinated their lies so perfectly. If I ever said, "Who's Sarah?" he'd say, "Kelly's wife from the book club I mentioned." They had it all planned out. The sophistication of the deception made it worse somehow. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake. It was calculated, coordinated, sustained over 8 months. What are you going to do? Rachel asked. I have about 90 minutes before Sarah gets home. I'm trying to figure that out. Do you want to confront them together at the hotel? No, that's too chaotic, too emotional. They could gaslight us, claim we're misunderstanding, whatever. I want to confront Sarah here in our home with all the evidence. I want her to have to face what she's done without Tom there to back her up. That makes sense. Tom won't be home until after 11. His poker nights supposedly run late. Maybe I'll wait up for him. Hit him with the evidence when he walks in. Actually, would you be willing to do something coordinated? I confront Sarah when she gets home at 10. You confront Tom when he gets home at 11. That way they can't communicate, can't coordinate their responses, can't warn each other. Yeah, I love that idea. Let's do it. In the meantime, I need to call a lawyer, get advice on how to protect myself. It's 8:30 at night. Will you reach anyone? I have a friend who's a divorce attorney. I'm calling him now. I'd met James through work a few years ago. Good guy, smart lawyer. I called his cell. Mike, what's up? James, I'm sorry to call so late. I need legal advice. I just discovered my wife is having an affair. I have extensive evidence. She'll be home in 90 minutes. What do I do? His tone shifted to professional. First, don't confront her violently or make threats. Document everything. Save all evidence in multiple places. Take photos of anything physical. If you confront her tonight, stay calm. Record the conversation if your state allows one-party consent. Do you want her out of the house? Yes, immediately. That's tricky. It's her house too legally, but you can ask her to leave. If she refuses, you leave and take Jake. Don't escalate physically. Tomorrow morning, first thing, call my office and schedule an emergency consultation. We'll file for divorce and establish temporary custody arrangements. What about custody? I want primary custody. Document everything. Her affair, especially if she was negligent with Jake during it. Any evidence she prioritized the affair over parenting. In most states, infidelity doesn't heavily custody unless it directly affected the child, but we'll build the strongest case possible. Thank you, James. I'm sorry you're going through this. Call me first thing tomorrow. I hung up and immediately started securing evidence. Forwarded all of Rachel's messages to my personal email and a cloud storage account. Took screenshots of everything on my phone. Downloaded it all to my laptop and an external hard drive. Backed it up in 3 separate locations. Then I looked around our house, the home Sarah and I had built together. Photos of us on the walls. Her artwork displayed proudly. Jake's toys scattered around. Evidence of the life we'd created, a life that had been a lie for 8 months. I thought about all the Tuesday evenings, the routine we'd established, me telling her to have fun, her kissing me goodbye, the trust I'd given so freely while she weaponized it for her affair. At 9:15, I called Rachel back. How are you holding up? I asked. Barely. I keep reading the texts and how did I miss this? How did I not know? I keep asking myself the same thing, but we didn't miss it because we're stupid. We missed it because we trusted them. Because when someone you love tells you something, you believe them. That's not a flaw in us. It's a flaw in them for exploiting that trust. You're right. God, I'm so angry. Me too, but we're going to channel that anger productively. We're going to confront them with evidence they can't deny. We're going to file for divorce. We're going to protect our kids, and we're going to rebuild our lives without people who could lie to us this extensively. I like the way you think. Can we stay in touch through this? I could use an ally who understands. Absolutely. Let's exchange numbers properly and stay connected. We did. 2 betrayed spouses supporting each other through the worst night of our lives. At 9:45, I positioned myself in the living room, sat on the couch with my phone and laptop ready, reviewed the evidence one more time, prepared myself mentally for Sarah's arrival. At 10:03 p.m., I heard her car in the driveway, the sound I'd heard every Tuesday for 8 months, the sound that meant she was home from her fake book club, ready to tell me another elaborate lie about the novel they'd discussed and the deep conversations they'd had. She walked through the door smiling, looking relaxed and happy, freshly showered, probably at the hotel, wearing the same outfit she'd left in. Hey, sorry, I'm a bit late. We got into a really intense discussion about the book and lost track of time. She dropped her purse on the counter, walked toward me. I stayed seated, didn't get up to greet her like I normally would. How was book club? I asked, voice flat. Great. We finished The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Have you heard of it? Such an interesting story about hidden lives and secret relationships. The irony of her book was almost funny. And how's Kelly? She's good. Asked about you, actually. Said she'd love to meet you sometime. Another lie, heaped on top of months of lies. That's interesting, I said calmly, because Kelly doesn't exist. Sarah's smile froze. What? Kelly isn't real. There is no book club, and you weren't at Kelly's house discussing a novel tonight. You were at the Marriott downtown sleeping with Tom and like you have been every Tuesday for the past 8 months. The color drained from her face. Mike, what are you? Don't. I held up my phone. I have evidence. Hundreds of texts between you and Tom. Photos. You sent him. Hotel receipts. Every Tuesday for 8 months. I know everything. She stood there frozen, mouth open, unable to speak. How did you? She finally whispered. Tom's wife, Rachel, found his secret phone tonight, called me in tears, sent me everything. So before you try to deny it or minimize it or gaslight me, understand that I have documented proof of your 8-month affair. Sarah's legs seemed to give out. She sank into a chair, face in her hands. Oh my God. Every Tuesday, Sarah, every Tuesday for 8 months you kissed me goodbye, told me you were going to book club, and went to a hotel to fuck Tom Anderson. Every Tuesday you came home and lied to my face about books you never read and conversations that never happened. 8 months. Mike, I'm so sorry. I don't want your apology. I want you to explain how you could do this. How you could look me in the eye and lie for 8 months. How you could let me encourage you, support you, tell you how proud I was of you for making time for yourself while you were using that encouragement to facilitate an affair. Tears were streaming down her face now. I don't know what to say. Try the truth. For once in 8 months, try the goddamn truth. She was sobbing now, shoulders shaking. It started at the gym. Tom there. We started talking. He was funny and charming and made me feel, I don't know, alive, exciting. Not just a mom and a wife, but a woman someone desired. I desire you. I tell you you're beautiful constantly. I know, but it's different. You're my husband. You have to say that. Tom chose me, made me feel special and exciting, and so you started fucking him? She flinched. It just happened. We met for coffee once, then it turned into more. We knew it was wrong, but we couldn't stop. So we came up with the book club and poker night covers. We thought we could keep it secret. Keep both our marriages while having this thing between us. This thing? You mean this affair, this betrayal, this 8-month deception where you systematically lied to me every single week? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you bring him around Jake? She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Answer me. Did you introduce Tom to our son? A few times at the park. I said he was a friend from the gym. Rage flooded through me. You brought your affair partner around our 6-year-old son? You let Jake meet the man you're cheating on me with? It wasn't like that. Get out. She looked up, shocked. What? Get out of this house right now. Pack a bag and leave. Mike, this is my house too. I don't care. I want you out tonight. Go stay with your parents. Go stay with a friend. I don't give a damn. But you're not sleeping under this roof tonight. Where's Jake? At my mom's, where he'll stay until I figure out how to tell him that mommy's been lying to everyone. You can't keep him from me. Watch me. You prioritized your affair over our son. You brought your affair partner around him without my knowledge or consent. You think any judge is going to favor you after hearing that? It wasn't like that. Tom is a good guy. I don't want to hear another word about Tom. Pack your shit and leave. Now. She stood up shakily. Can we talk about this tomorrow, when we've both calmed down? There's nothing to talk about. I'm filing for divorce first thing tomorrow morning. My lawyer is already aware of the situation. You should probably get your own attorney. Mike, please, I made a mistake. So 8 months isn't a mistake. 8 months is a choice. You chose this. You chose to destroy our marriage, destroy our family, destroy the trust I had in you. You chose to lie to me every single Tuesday. You chose to bring your lover around our son. These weren't mistakes. They were deliberate decisions. She was full on sobbing now. I love you. I don't want a divorce. You should have thought about that before you fucked someone else for 8 months. Tom means nothing. Then you destroyed our marriage for nothing. That's even worse. Now pack a bag and get out. She went upstairs. I heard her moving around, opening drawers, crying. She came down 20 minutes later with a suitcase. I'll go to my parents, she said quietly. Can I say goodbye to Jake? No, not tonight. We'll figure out a custody schedule through lawyers. He's my son. He's our son. And you should have remembered that before lying to both of us for 8 months. She walked to the door, turned back. Mike, I really am sorry. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen because you chose it. Every Tuesday for 8 months, you chose it. She left. I watched her car disappear down the street, the same street I'd watched her leave down every Tuesday thinking she was going to book club. I sat in the empty house and let myself feel everything. The rage, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the humiliation. I'd trusted her completely, supported her completely, and she'd used that trust and support to facilitate an 8-month affair. At 11:15, Rachel texted, "Tom just got home. Confronting him now." I waited. At 11:47, she texted again. He denied it at first. I showed him the screenshots. He admitted everything. Currently packing a bag, calling a divorce attorney tomorrow. I called her. "How did it go?" "Awful. He tried to say it meant nothing, that he loves me, that Sarah seduced him. I told him I don't care who seduced who. He made a choice every Tuesday for 8 months. He's going to his brother's house. Sarah's at her parents'. Same story. Tried to minimize it, blame circumstances, say it just happened. I told her to get a lawyer. I can't believe this is our lives now." "Me neither, but we'll get through it, one day at a time." "Thank you, Mike, for suggesting we coordinate. It helped having someone who understood. We'll stay in touch, support each other through this." The next morning, I dropped Jake at school without telling him anything yet. Then I went straight to James's office. Over the next 2 hours, I laid out everything, showed him all the evidence, explained about Tom and the coordinated lies, told him about Sarah bringing Tom around Jake. "That last part is big," James said. "Introducing an affair partner to a minor child without the other parent's knowledge shows poor judgment regarding the child's welfare. We can use that for custody. I want primary custody, 60-40 at minimum. With this evidence, I think we can get it. Let's file today." We did. Filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences and Sarah's adultery. Filed for primary custody based on her poor judgment in bringing her affair partner around Jake. Requested she pay child support given the custody split. Sarah got served 3 days later. She called me crying, begging to talk. I directed her to communicate through my attorney only. Rachel and I stayed in close touch. We'd text each other updates, support each other through the hard days, celebrate small victories. Two strangers who'd become unlikely allies through shared betrayal. Tom and Sarah are apparently still seeing each other, Rachel told me 2 weeks after the confrontation. "My friend saw them at a restaurant together looking cozy. Let them. They destroyed their marriages for each other. Now they get to see what they actually have without the excitement of sneaking around." The divorce proceedings took 6 months. Sarah fought the custody arrangement, but the evidence was damning. The affair alone didn't determine custody, but bringing Tom around Jake repeatedly without my knowledge showed poor parental judgment. The judge agreed. I got 60% custody. Jake lived with me during the week, went to Sarah's house every other weekend and one weeknight. She had to pay me $650 a month in child support. She was furious about both rulings but couldn't argue with the evidence. The property settlement was straightforward. We split assets roughly 50-50. I kept the house by buying out her half. She took other assets to compensate. By the time the divorce was finalized, Sarah and Tom's relationship had already started falling apart. According to Rachel, who heard through mutual friends the affair that seemed so exciting when secret became mundane when it was their actual reality. "They're fighting constantly," Rachel reported. "Turns out when your relationship is built on betrayal and lies, it doesn't have a strong foundation." "Shocking," I said sarcastically. 3 months after the divorce, Tom and Sarah broke up. Apparently they couldn't handle the guilt, the judgment from friends and family, and the reality that what they'd sacrificed their marriages for wasn't actually that special. Sarah tried to reach out to me after the breakup. "I made a terrible mistake. I ruined everything for something that didn't even last. Can we try again?" "No," I told her simply. "You showed me who you are. 8 months of deliberate lies. That's not someone I can trust or love." Meanwhile, Rachel and I had become genuine friends, not romantic. We were both too damaged for that, but supportive allies who understood what the other was going through. "How are you doing?" She'd text regularly. "Some days better than others. You?" "Same. The girls are struggling with the divorce, but we're working through." A year after the divorce, Rachel and I met for coffee in person for the first time since that horrible Tuesday night. She was doing better, had started dating someone new, had found a good therapist, was rebuilding her life. "Thank you for being there through all of this," she said. "I don't know if I could have gotten through it without someone who really understood." "Same. We survived the worst and came out the other side." 2 years after the divorce, I started dating again. Met a woman named Emma at a divorced parents support group. She was a teacher, divorced 2 years earlier for different reasons, patient with my trust issues, and Jake's adjustment. I like her, Dad, Jake said after meeting Emma for the first time. He was 8 now, had adjusted to the divorce as well as could be expected. Me too, buddy. Emma and I dated slowly, carefully. She understood that trust was hard for me after Sarah's betrayal. Never rushed me, never pressured me, just stayed consistent and honest. 3 years after that Tuesday night when Rachel called me in tears, I'm 37. Jake is 9 and thriving. Good grades, good friends, well adjusted despite the divorce. He has a relationship with Sarah, though it's more distant than mine with him. She sees him according to the custody schedule, but they're not as close as they could have been if she'd made different choices. Sarah is 35 now and struggling. She dated a few people after Tom, but has a reputation in our social circles as the woman who destroyed 2 families for an affair that lasted 3 months after the divorces. She's working part-time as a graphic designer, living in a small apartment, paying child support she resents, dealing with the consequences of her choices. I occasionally feel pity for her. She destroyed her marriage, her family, her reputation for an affair that turned out to be nothing substantial, but mostly I feel grateful. Grateful that I found out. Grateful that Rachel called me. Grateful that I didn't waste more years with someone who could lie to my face every week for 8 months. Emma and I are serious now, talking about moving in together, maybe marriage eventually. Jake likes her. She's honest, consistent, trustworthy, everything Sarah wasn't. Do you ever wish you'd handled the confrontation differently? Emma asked me recently. No, I handled it the only way that made sense. With evidence, witnesses, and strategic timing. If I'd let my emotions control me, I might have done something I'd regret. Instead, I stayed calm, protected myself and Jake, and made sure Sarah faced real consequences for what she did. Sometimes people ask if I've forgiven Sarah. The answer is complicated. I don't hate her. She's Jake's mother and they need a relationship. But I haven't forgotten, can't forget, 8 months of Tuesday evenings where she looked me in the eye and lied. 8 months of trusting her completely while she betrayed that trust systematically. The final lesson I learned? Trust isn't automatic or infinite. It's earned through consistent honesty, and it can be destroyed by sustained deception. Sarah taught me that some betrayals are unforgivable, not because of what happened, but because of how long and deliberately someone chose to lie. Every Tuesday evening now, I spend with Jake or Emma or both. We make dinner, watch movies, do homework, live our lives honestly. And I never, not once, wonder if they're lying to me. Because I learned to recognize the signs, to trust my gut, to value honesty above everything else. Sarah's book club destroyed our marriage, but taught me what I'll never accept again, elaborate deception from someone who claims to love me. And for that clarity, as painful as it was to acquire, I'm ultimately grateful.